On February 7th, 2020, Green Day released their album, Father of All Motherfuckers. And here's what I thought. Green Day is an American rock band from Oakland, California. Over their 34-year career, they've won Grammys, Tony Awards, Billboard Awards, and even a Kids' Choice Award. So without going too much into it, I think you should know that Green Day was my first favorite band. They were the first band that felt like my band, that I went back and wanted to discover their back catalog, asking for CDs for Christmas, and watching their Bullet in the Bible DVD religiously. And at 16 years old, at the height of my fandom, they even brought me up on stage to sing a song, kind of cementing my love for this band. But with all that being said, I can't say that I've totally loved all their efforts in the last 8 years or so. I mean, the trilogy was kind of bloated, and Revolution Radio just kind of sounded stale after the first few listens. So, going into this new album, I had to keep a couple things in mind. Billie Joe Armstrong, the lead singer and vocalist of the band, made it clear that this new album was going to be a dancey kind of like party album, you know? So going into it, I'm trying to take everything with a grain of salt, not look too deeply into the meaning of anything. First track, Father of All. Now this is a very different sound for Green Day. I know the song kind of came as a little bit of a shock to myself and I think a lot of fans. I mean, those falsettos, like, what's happening, Billy? When I first heard it, I definitely wasn't blown away, but I think on repeated listens, I really kind of got that energy that they were trying to bring to the track, especially when that chorus kicks in. I think for me, watching the video that accompanied this song really helped get that energy and kind of get that fun party vibe. In the video, you see that wall of death coming together and all these people dancing. It made the whole thing feel a little bit more lighthearted, more fun, and it was great to see the band having fun themselves. Also want to shout out Mike on the bass during the second pre-chorus, just like sliding all around that bass. It definitely grooves. It's definitely fun. The song also premieres the appearance of the very divisive among the fan base hand claps. All I'm going to say is if you're not a fan of the hand claps right now, you'll have a lot of opportunities to grow to like them. And if you just know that you won't like them, then, well, good luck. The kind of wailing guitars during the breakdown, if you want to call it that, is kind of reminiscent of the trilogy, which is good or bad, depending if you like the trilogy, I guess. I'm personally glad that they didn't focus on this wailing too much. Next song. Ready, aim, fire, fire, ready, yay. So this was the second song that they released on the album, and I'm not gonna lie, I liked it. I know it's kind of basic and straightforward, but I really think Green Day crushes it here. I feel like it really catches that get up and go party kind of energy that the rest of the album presents itself as. I love that little keyboard riff during the second verse. Dun, 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 dun. It's very reminiscent of the Foxborough Hot Tubs song, Ruby Room. Foxborough Hot Tubs is a Green Day side project from like 2008. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that song also had like the da 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 kind of like piano licks behind the verses, you know? I think the vocals for the song might be a little too high for Billy. Sounds like he's on the line of breaking. Maybe that's just because he's like yelling them. Like, I can't imagine him trying to sing the song night after night after night. Maybe, you know, night after night, he'll just get better and it'll become easier for him. I've seen the man do crazier things. And I'm not sure if you noticed because it blends in pretty well, but yes, the song also has hand claps. Next is Oh Yeah. When the song first came out, I wasn't super impressed. I mean, the drum sample from Joan Jett's Do You Want to Touch Me seemed kind of lazy on Green Day's part, especially if this album only has 10 songs. But I think hearing this song in context with the full album makes me like it and appreciate it a little bit more. It slows things down from the last two tracks, but is different enough to keep me kind of interested and wanting to hear more. The little effects that are sprinkled throughout this track, I think work for it as well, like Billy's vocals echoing in the second verse. If you listen carefully enough, they kind of just echo into nothing. That's what you get turning bullets into rockets. Rock, 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 rock. Yeah, you get it. I don't love the verses or anything, but I really start to appreciate the song when the chorus kind of kicks in. I like the little repeating, I guess, keyboard, the dee-doo, dee-doo, dee-doo. This whole thing is just me making dumb noises. But that piano thing with the drum sample, it works. It's cool. It kind of builds it a little bit. I'm not really drawn into any of the lyrics for the verses. I do like the chorus where they make reference to everybody's a star, like everyone gets their 5 seconds of fame. I think that's relevant, especially from a band like Green Day who have seen the way fame kind of shifts over the last 3 decades. And the song sprinkles a little bit more effects as it kind of goes on, again, kind of keeping me a little bit more interested. There's subtle harmonies that added through the song, like the last time Billy sings, "Ain't it funny how we're running out of hope?" You can hear that. "Ain't it funny how we're running out of hope?" or something, you know, it just adds. It makes it sound more fuller. I really like the outro to the song. It kind of builds with the dee-doo, and Billy singing, you know, "Everybody is a star," and it kind of just keeps building and building, and then he has that scream at the end. I think the outro might actually be the best part of the song. Number 4, "Meet Me on the Roof." Some strokey guitar, some high-pitched, repetitious piano, and oh baby, you guessed it, hand claps. After that little intro, the song kicks in. And maybe it's because the first lyrics are, "I'm crawling on the dance floor," or maybe it's because the tune is so infectious, but yeah, I'm dancing to this. I think Billy's vocal delivery is spot on here. It doesn't sound as kind of fake falsetto-y as Father of All. It sounds a little bit more natural, and I dig it. The lyrics are a little hit and miss in this song. "I'm hanging with the cholos, cruising down the strip, sleeping with a pillow, waking up in spit." Not Billy's best work, but he sings it in such a way that unless you're really paying attention to the lyrics, you might not notice because the song is so infectious. And with all that being said, I feel like the second half of that same verse are some of the best lyrics that are on the entire album. "I'm taking drowning lessons, secret words and true confessionals. The worst is yet to come." Like that's poetry. No? Just me? I think it's cool. I also really like the idea of meeting someone on the rooftop. Maybe it's because you're up there, you're outside, but it's kind of like hidden and secretive and intimate, I guess. Also, you're close to the stars. Stars are cool. The solo in the song is meh. I feel like the guitar tone doesn't really match the rest of the song. Maybe they did that on purpose to kind of like stand out, but the little like breakdown with the hand claps and the la la la, it's cute. Not necessarily the classic Green Day sound, but I think this experimentation works. Like, they did it well. It's catchy. Moving on. Number 5, "I Was a Teenager." Aren't we all at some point? To me, this is a very kind of throwaway track, which really it doesn't need to be when you only have 10 songs on an album. The song kind of starts off with that driving bass and Billy's vocals, the do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. But the lyrics. "I don't want to freak you out, but I cannot lie. I don't want to freak you out, but I cannot lie. Who's holding the drugs? Who's holding the drugs? I don't want to freak you out, but I cannot lie." That's basically the song. Then the chorus kicks in. It's a little bit more higher energy, sing-songy, but Billy Joe and company being close to 50 now, singing about being teenagers is a little unnecessary. If you wanted us to know that you were teenagers, then, you know, play one of your old songs, or do it in a way from a perspective of someone growing up, kind of like X-Kid was. At least that's what I would have preferred. Number 6, "Stab You in the Heart." Again, it's not my favorite, but it doesn't mean that it's bad. I just don't think that's very new for Green Day. This song is using the exact same riff as their Dose song, Time. I know that this riff is an old riff, a rock and roll standard. Listen to Hippie Hippie Shakes by the Swinging Blue Jeans that came out in 1963. It's literally this song. This is literally a song that Billy Joe wrote for a musical called These Paper Bullets. The only difference was that instead of being called Stab You in the Heart, this was called Broke My Heart. "You broke my heart, my bloody, bloody heart," opposed to Stab You in the Heart. Now I feel like this version has a little bit more grit than past renditions have. And Green Day does execute this idea well with, you know, the wailing guitars and the kind of party vibes and things like that. I just think that my biggest qualm is that it's just not super original. Number 7, "Sugar Youth." So after my first listen, I think the song is probably my favorite from the album. The energy is just classic Green Day. It has even some throwbacks to kind of American Idiot vibes. The pre-chorus line of, "I got a feeling and it's dangerous." It reminds me so much of She's a Rebel, where, "and she's dangerous." I kind of love it.
"All hell is breaking loose and heaven only knows. Don't wanna be you."
Like the lyrics of the chorus sound and fit so well to the energy and the instrumentals. It's great. The verses have some questionable lyrics, but I'll look past it. "Junkies on a High." This song is debatably the most experimental track on this album. The droning guitar and bass paired with the big heavy drum hits, you know, with that juxtaposition of like the repeating keyboards, you know, kind of sound like something that 21 Pilots might do. I also don't think I love the vocal sample of the I. I am down for experimentation, and I do think that this song fits on this album, specifically right here after coming down from like a sugar high from the last song. I just don't think that this song did it for me, at least on the first few listens. In the third verse, there's some guitars that come in that kind of accompany Billy Joe's lyrics and vocal delivery, which is very reminiscent of Boulevard of Broken Dreams. Even just the da 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 da, like kind of just the way he says his words is kind of reminiscent of Boulevard of Broken Dreams. At least that's what I kind of got from it. Number 9, We're Almost There. That's not what the song's called. Take the money and crawl. That's not how you crawl. Brings the energy back from the last song, and is very in your face. I wasn't sure how I felt about Billy Joe's vocals being kind of edited in that way during the chorus with the like a DJ's kind of scratching it. Like, I thought they wanted to kill the DJ. But the more I listened to it, I think I kind of like that experimentation with the vocals there. It's something that Green Day doesn't usually do. It kind of works, especially with his voice here. There's some effects on the guitar solo, which is something I think is a little different for Green Day to do. And after all the experimentation and Junkies on a High, like, it doesn't seem that crazy. I know this is going to be a great biking track whenever I'm, like, biking to work. And the last song on the album, Graffiti. The song kind of throws back to the 21st Century Breakdown epicness, almost. It's very sing-songy in the chorus with the I love how it goes from this big chorus to kind of stripping back down with Billy Joe strumming the guitar, palm muted, singing his words, you know? It's almost like theatrical, like American Idiot or 21st Century Breakdown. And the lyrics on the song kind of hark back to that era as well. The outro with building instrumentals and vocals are all kind of homecoming-esque. Billy Joe's vocals kind of fade out with the album. It's a very solid close to the party and the album. And there you go. Now, a few things really stood out for me on this album. I really liked Billy Joe's vocal delivery, or at least the way that it was recorded on this album, especially in the second half of this album. I personally think it's the best he sounded on record since 21st Century Breakdown. Also the piano work. I know it's very simple, but I think it's instrumental, literally, to a lot of the songs on this album. As much as this album experiments with different styles and sounds, at the end of the day, it's all within the walls of Green Day. And I think any big Green Day fan can definitely find something that resonates with them. Unless you jump ship like 10 years ago and you're hoping for another American Idiot or Dookie, you're not going to find it here. I think the album very much does capture that dancey, apocalyptic kind of vibe that Billy Joe was going for. It has a lot of sounds and ideas that they tried with Foxborough Hot Tubs and Dose, but I think it sounds more refined than ever here. It's by no means a perfect album, but it's short, fast, punchy, repeatable, and fun. And I think if Green Day can still do that in 2020, that's fantastic. And I think Green Day being so far in their career, like, they should be allowed to have some fun. So my initial reaction, I'd give this album 6.5 hand claps out of 10. Maybe if I'm biking, 7. You need that extra energy. But what do you think? Do you think it's fresh for Green Day to do this, or it's just old recycled rock? And that's it. I hope you join my progression as I continue to listen to new music. You could sub, like, or take a hike. Until next time, peace.